There we go.
Yes, I'm glad that because that's like a doable thing. We can do that immediately, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm talking about immediately. To whereas
I've been getting about it to getting like I see what you're saying. I'm like, yeah, right. Shit, fucking ready.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like all praises, man. You know what I'm saying? For that. Yes, sir. And that's the cool thing about it is if we all together, that's what's gonna make it doable.
We on. Shalom, shalom, family.
Shalom.
You know, that's what's gonna make it doable. So turn this light on.
Okay. Shalom. I push my brother. What's up with?
Yo, pull up.
Still recovering. You seen what?
He gonna be light skinned by
Who like?
You don't want to come outside and play.
Nah, Brew was hurting today.
I know that.
Yeah, Brew was hurting today.
I know he be on this thing. Shalom, my brother. Shalom, Mikha'el.
Shalom, Marcus Israel. Shalom, shalom. Watchman Baruch, shalom, my brother. Agdino, shalom. Store, shalom. YAH, shalom. Aniya, my sister, shalom. Israel, shalom. Climb on in, family.
They like y'all ain't been on here on a Monday for a while.
Right. Milk Monday.
Yo, we
Yeah.
but after the YAH thing about the milk and stuff like that, I'm kind of scared to put that up.
I'm scared to say Milk Monday. Now we're gonna say Meat Monday. Get up off the food.
Milk, you know?
Yeah.
But I dig it though. I dig it.
Yeah.
That's good.
Good lesson. Well needed. All praise.
You know, these lessons always be well needed at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
At the right time, my brother. Shalom to everybody that's in the chat, man. You know what I'm saying? Shalom.
Yeah, well, Milk Mondays. Yeah. She said Khan, I literally was just asking my king about Milk Mondays. Spirit moving, that's right.
All praise.
All praise.
Sad about business though, sis.
Ania. Yeah, that's sister Ania.
Sad about business, man.
Oh man.
Solomon Mac, my brother, man. I'll be his down. My brother. Mina J. Shalom, my sister, Troy Thomas.
Yeah, I'm gonna let bro get a shout because I'm gonna slaughter some names. I don't want to pull Big J moves get the slaughtering names around here. I mean Nehemiah, I'm sorry.
It's all. Hey, y'all put out a prayer for our brother Nehemiah. You know, this you know, we seem like we got everything together and stuff like that, but sometimes we do need prayer as well. You know what I'm saying? So if thou may, you know, y'all put a prayer out to our brother Nehemiah. Eliyahu, Gabar, Israel, Shalom. Malachi Maccabees, you got the axe, Ak.
Shalom.
One soul of life. Shalom is thou. All right, y'all.
All right, we're gonna get it started.
All right.
Y'all see the topic. Isolation of YAH. The isolation of YAH. So y'all know sometimes it's good to be in isolation, sometimes it's not so good to be in isolation. So with that being said, we're gonna get it started. But bro gonna open up with an opening Psalms. He's gonna open up with Psalms 33, and then we're gonna get it cracked.
Psalms chapter 33. Rejoice in the Most High, O ye righteous, for praise is calmly for the upright. Praise the Most High with heart. Sing unto him with the psaltery and the instrument of 10 strings. Sing unto him a new song. Play skillfully with a loud noise. For the word of the Most High is right, and all his works are done in truth. He loveth righteousness and judgment. The earth is full of the goodness of YAH. By the word of the Most High were the heavens made, and all the host of them by the breath of his mouth. He gathered the waters of the seas together as an heap. He laid up the depth in the storehouses. Let all the earth fear the Most High. Let all the inhabitants of the world stand in awe of him. For he spake, and it was done. He commanded, and it stood fast. The Most High bringeth the counsel of the heathen to naught. He maketh the devices of the people of non effect. The counsel of the Most High standeth forever. The thoughts of his hearts to all generations. Blessed is the nation whose power is the Elohim of YAH, and the people whom he hath chosen for his own inheritance. Let the Most High look it from heaven. He beholdeth all the sons of men. From the place of his habitation, he look upon all the inhabitations of the earth. He fashioneth their hearts alike. He considered all their works. There is no king saved by the multitude of any host. A mighty man is not delivered by much strength. A horse is a vain thing for safety. Neither shall he deliver any by his great strength. Behold, the eye of YAH is upon them that fear him, upon them that hope in his mercy, to deliver their souls from death, and to keep them alive in famine. Our soul waited for the Most High. He is our help and our shield. For our heart shall rejoice in him, because we have trusted in his holy name. Verse 22. Let thy mercy, O YAH, be upon us, according as we hope in thee. Hallelujah. Selah. Yo. All praises to the Most High and his only begotten Son. Let's get in.
Shalom, family. But yeah, today's lesson is the isolation of YAH. So if you look at everything that's going on now, it's like the world is in isolation. You see that the basketball players been taken away from everybody. All the football players been taken away from everybody. What other sport? What else been taken away? Soccer. Church been taken away. It's like all concerts, all this straight up gay pride parades, all of it been taken away from everybody, right? So notice it's like everybody is in isolation. So what is everybody's mindset on doing this isolation? Is it on the Most High, or is it on the things that he's taken away? It's like the Most High has taken all this away to show that the whole world is on lockdown, to make everybody keep their focus on him in this time right now. So the isolation of YAH. All right, so we're going to open this up with Jeremiah chapter 29. And we're going to start in verse 11. We're going to hit one verses, and then we're going to go into the lesson. We're just going to hit a couple verses, and then we're going to go into the lesson.
Jeremiah 29.
Yeah, Jeremiah. Hold on, let me make sure I share the screen. Let's do that again. Boom. That's it right here, right? Yes. I tell you for you, brother. Y'all know your brother. All right, share screen. All right. Bang. Bang. So make sure it's sharing. Go about now. Yeah, bro, how you go to share screen, right? Terry for you, brother.
Yeah. Sure.
So I hit the shirt.
This one, what you wanna?
Yeah, I'm trying to shirt the.
Okay. No.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so we're there. All right, we're gonna go to Jeremiah chapter 29. We're gonna start in verse 11. We're just gonna one verse it a couple times, and then we're gonna get into the list.
Jeremiah chapter 29. Verse 11. For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, right, saith the Most High, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Right. Well, come on. Then shall you call upon me, and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hear, and I will hearken unto you. And ye shall seek me, right, and find me, right, when ye shall search for me with all your heart. So look, notice the Most High said, when you seek, pray, and then you will find him once you seek him with all your heart. Mm-hmm. So think about you being in isolation. He told you, whatever I tell you in the dark, you would tell it to the light, right? That's right. In order for you to be in the dark, you have to be by yourself. You have to be by yourself. So when you go in to pray, you go into the closet and you go in to pray and you're by yourself. You're isolated from, whether it's your spouse, your children, your brothers, or the world. You're isolated from people. And while you have been isolated from them, your whole mindset is on the Most High, right? During this isolation. So hold it there. We're going to go to 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3. One verses, family, and then we're going to get into the list. See a couple verses. 2 Corinthians.
Yeah. So how you do this? Boy, I ain't do this. All right, come on.
2 Corinthians chapter 11.
We're going to start in verse 3, though.
Second Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3. But I fear, least by any means, right, as the serpent beguiled Eve.
Right. So when it says, when the serpent beguiled Eve, right, when Eve was deceived, she wasn't by who? Her husband. She was by herself. So it's letting you know, anytime you're isolated, isolation means you've been isolated from your spouse, your wife, your children, or you're separated from people, right? So Adam wasn't around. But remember, when God created Adam and Eve, he created Adam, then he brought Eve from his rib, and then they were together. During this time of separation, Eve was what? The seed. So she was isolated from her husband. Come on.
Eve through his subtlety.
Right.
So your mind should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Hamashiach.
So the whole thing is, when you are by yourself, it's not to be deceived or beguiled, just like Eve was during her isolation. Remember, the Messiah, we're going to talk about that also. When he went and he was isolated from his disciples, he was tempted by who? Satan. The exact same thing that happened with Eve. She was isolated from her husband. She was tempted by Satan, and she failed the mission. That's why we die. So during your isolation, make sure you're listening to YAH and not Satan.
Yeah, when you're isolated, then you can shut off the noises from and the distractions.
Yeah, you can shut off the distractions. You can shut off the world. Like when you've been isolated, you're actually paying attention to what YAH has to tell you. Listen to the voice of God. We're going to go to Revelation chapter 2. We're going to hit verse 10. Remember, we're just going to hit a couple verses, and then we'll get into the lesson.
Revelation chapter 2, verse 10. Might have to blow that up a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Revelation chapter 2, verse 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison.
He said the devil shall what?
Cast some of you into prison.
So then you know, he said, look, don't be afraid, right? Satan gonna cast some of you people in prison. Anytime you go to jail, the whole thing is when you're going to jail, they're saying you what? Isolated from what? The world. Or isolated from society. They think that you are a menace to society, so they're isolating you from society. Well, a lot of people, when they go to jail, their whole thing is when they go to jail, they say that they found God in jail, right? So a lot of people become Muslims, or they the main one is Muslims for real, or or Christianity, whatever the case may be. Anytime that they're isolated, it seems like these people so-called find God, right? Come on.
That ye may be tried.
That you ain't what?
That ye may be tried. And ye shall have tribulation 10 days.
Right. 10 days can be what? 10 years. Remember, right? A day to the Lord is 10 years to us.
Be thou faithful unto death.
Right.
And I will give thee a crown of life.
So look, it said, look, be faithful unto death, and I will give you a crown of life. So if you're being separated or being isolated, it tells you to be faithful unto death, and Christ will give you the crown of life. That's right. So now we're gonna get into some stories. We're gonna go to Acts chapter 16. We're gonna start in verse 16. Remember, it's saying men being cast into prison, right? Acts chapter 16. We're gonna start in verse 16.
Acts chapter 16, verse 16.
It's better to let the Most High put you in. It's better for you to just go into isolation with God instead of him putting you into isolation. Because that's what happened with Jonah. He had to get put into isolation in order for him to do what the Most High told him to do from the beginning. He had to be put in the belly of the whale for 3 days in order for him to go and do what the Most High told him to do. So he had to be isolated. How you go down? All right, there we go. You want to on verse 16? Come on.
Acts chapter 16, verse 16.
Hello, my fault. No, you know what? We're going to go to Acts chapter 28 first. Then we'll come back to here. We're going to go to Acts chapter 28 first. Give me, family. We're going to start on verse 16.
Acts chapter 28, verse 16.
Right.
And when we came to Rome, the centurion delivered the prisoner to the captain of the guard. But Paul was suffered to dwell by himself with a soldier that kept him.
Right. So now you see Paul is being by himself, right?
Right.
Come on.
And it came to pass that after 3 days, Paul called the chief of the Jews together. And when they were come together, he said unto them, Men and brethren, though I have committed nothing against the people, our customs of our fathers, yet was I delivered prisoner from Jerusalem into the hands of the Romans.
So now you're seeing Paul saying, look, I'm being persecuted for no reason, right? I never broke no laws, statutes, or commandments of God, and I never taught against the customs. When you look at the word custom, it means laws. I never went against nothing that we was taught as Israelites, right?
Who, when they had examined me, would have let me go, because there was no cause of death in me.
Right.
But when the Jews spake against it, I was constrained to appeal unto Caesar, I was constrained to appeal unto Caesar, not that I had aught to accuse my nation of, but this cause, therefore, have I called for you, to see you and to speak with you, because that for the hope of Israel, I am bound with this chain.
So look, his whole thing is now that he's locked up, right? Now, since he's locked up, he's talking to the children of Israel. Come on.
And they said unto him, We neither receive letters out of Judea concerning thee, neither any of the brethren that came showed or spake any harm of thee. But we desire to hear of thee what thou thinkest. For as concerning this sect, we know that everywhere it is spoken against, and when they had appointed him a day, there came many to him into his lodging, to whom he expounded and testified the kingdom of YAH.
Come on.
Persuading them concerning Yahushua,
Right.
both out of the law of Moshe and out of the prophets, from morning till evening.
So look, now you notice that Paul, when he was locked up, he was isolated from Silas, who he was with. So they separated him. So Paul, he's locked up. During his isolation, he's persuading everybody about Christ. Because remember, they understood the law, statutes, and commandments of God, but they didn't believe in the Messiah. So his whole thing for him being isolated was to show these people Christ.
And some believed the things which were spoken, and some believed not.
Come on.
And when they agreed not among themselves, they departed.
Right.
After that, Paul had spoken one word. Well spake the holy Yahushua by Isaiah, the prophet, unto our Abbas.
Come on.
Saying, go unto this people, and say, hearing ye shall hear, and shall not understand, and seeing ye shall see, and not perceive. For the heart of this people is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes have they closed, lest they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and should be converted, and I should heal them. But be it known, therefore, unto you, that the salvation of YAH is sent unto the Gentiles, and that they will hear it. And when he had said these words, the Jews departed and had great reasoning amongst themselves. And Paul dwelt 2 whole years.
He dwelt where?
He dwelt 2 whole years.
So look, it let you know that Paul was isolated for 2 years. During the 2 years that he was isolated, his whole thing was to teach them and show them the Messiah through the scriptures. So during your isolation, sometimes somebody might go to jail. Somebody might go to jail. This could be you. This could be you going to jail, and your whole thing is to show somebody the Messiah through the scriptures. You never know. They always say, look, everything, the Most High work in what? Mysterious ways. It's like, look, his whole thing, he was isolated for 2 years, and they kept going to him, and he was teaching them the Messiah through the scriptures. So being isolated can actually be good. This is an example. Come on, keep going.
And Paul dwelt 2 whole years in his own hired house, and received all that came in unto him, preaching the kingdom of Yah.
Doing what?
Preaching the kingdom of Yah. And teaching those things which concern the master, Yahushua HaMashiach, with all confidence.
No, with some confidence.
With all confidence.
Come on.
No man forbidding him.
So look, it's like, nobody stopped him because they actually wanted to hear about Christ. And remember, he was writing them letters too. So
he was, and it was said with all confidence.
Right.
When somebody is confident of something, you know what I mean, and you really not too sure, you have to look at it to where I was like, you start second guessing your own thing because you're not really sure about it.
Right.
For somebody that confidence, like, and speaking the realness, and it's like it makes you like, wow, let me hear what he got to say. You know what I'm saying?
And look, it said many men was what? Persuaded.
Yeah.
He converted these men from what? Being isolated. So being isolated, the Most High isolate men. We can't isolate ourselves. The Most High has to isolate you. The moment you isolate yourself, and that's when you fail the mission. You can't isolate yourself. When you read the script, it always says that the Most High talked to this man. This man came up. He separated himself from her. Christ talked to him here. Come on. All right, we're going to go to 2 Samuel. Give a bad example. We're going to go to 2 Samuel chapter 11. We're going to start in verse 1. Oh, man. Come on. Did it mess up on there?
No.
All right, there we go. We good.
Yeah.
2 Samuel chapter 11. We're going to start in verse 1. Terry with his family is slowing down. What are you showing up on? Make sure that's still showing. All right, we're going ahead and read, bro. It'll pop up. All right, we're going to go to 2 Samuel, chapter, all right, there it is, chapter 11, verse 1. All right, come on.
And it came to pass, after the year was expired, at the time when kings go forth to battle,
right,
that David sent Joab
right,
and his servant with him, and all Israel, and they destroyed the children of Ammon,
right,
and besieged Rabbah.
So look, during this time, it was war, right? They went up for a battle, and David stayed back. He sent Joab, his servants with him, in Israel, and they had went out and destroyed the children of Ammon, right? David is a king. Anytime that there was a battle, the king was supposed to go out too, because it says, and it came to pass after the year was expired at the time when kings go forth to battle. David is a king.
Right.
He's supposed to go forth for the fight. It says for kings, David is the king of Israel. But did David go forth? Let's see. Come on.
But David tarried still at Jerusalem.
David did what?
Tarried still at Jerusalem.
So look, David stayed back, right? So David is by himself. He stayed back. Come on.
And it came to pass,
right,
in an evening tide, that David arose from his bed and walked upon the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a woman washing herself.
Right.
And the woman was very beautiful to look upon.
So look, now David is being isolated, right? Remember when Christ was isolated, he was by himself. He was tempted by Satan. Christ conquered it, right?
Right.
David is not conquering Satan during this time. He's been isolated. He isolated himself. This is why you cannot isolate yourself. Let God isolate you. David isolated himself from Israel because he was supposed to go out for the battle, but he stayed back.
Mm-hmm.
He stayed back. Come on.
And David sent and inquired after the woman.
Right.
And one said, is not this Bathsheba,
right,
the daughter of Eliam,
right,
the wife,
the who?
The wife of Uriah the Hittite?
So look, they giving the whole bloodline. They telling him the bloodline, where she come from, and saying like, look, that's the wife of Uriah. That's your right-hand man. That's his wife. Come on.
And David sent messengers and took her.
Right.
And she came in unto him, and he lay with her.
Right.
For she was purified from her uncleanliness. And she returned unto her house. And the woman conceived.
And she did what?
And the woman conceived.
Right.
And sent and told David and said, I am with child.
Come on.
And David sent to Joab, saying, send me Uriah the Hittite. And Joab sent Uriah to David.
Come on.
And when Uriah was come in unto him, David demanding of him how Joab did, and how the people did, and how the war prospered.
And how the what?
And how the war prospered.
It's like, look, you supposed to know how the war prospered because you supposed to have been there. You the king of Israel. The king supposed to have went out for battle. But since David stayed back, he isolated himself from the war. He stayed back, and then Satan came and defeated him because now he done sat and committed adultery doing his isolation. So when you isolate yourself, it's not good. You let God isolate you. Don't isolate yourself because this could be you.
And what you isolating yourself for? You know what I'm saying? If it, you know, like some of us be coming up with all kinds of things that we need to isolate ourselves from our brothers or something like
right.
that. And really, it either got to do with, you know, either you praying, and that's the Most High telling you to pray.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or you coming up with some type of excuse to isolate yourself because you done messed up. You know that, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Somewhere in your life, you know what I mean, your walk, you done messed up, and now you're feeling guilty, and you don't want your brothers to see that guilt in your eyes.
You don't want them to see that guilt inside of your face. Yeah. And then at the end of the day, it's like, okay, if we believe the word of God for what it is, it tell you from Genesis to Revelation, no words shall come back void. It's like, okay, if you actually believe this wholeheartedly, if you saying that, okay, like say if somebody say, look, I don't want to be around Uriel and YAH because it's always tension there. It's always tension. Oh, like, okay, well, at the end of the day, you supposed to be the peacemaker.
Oh, wait, blessed is the peacemaker.
Blessed are the peacemakers. You supposed to be the peacemaker then. Well, maybe that's your job to be the peacemaker. Make it peace then. If you believe the word for what it is, you be the peacemaker. Yeah. You bring the peace. When you walk in the room, you manifest peace. You manifest it so everybody can be like, hey, look, we've been tripping. And then you could talk to your brothers and sisters and everything could what? Be peaceful. That's probably your job. But it's like you're running away from your job. It's like we get a position, like bro said last week, like, look, everybody play their role. You know what I'm saying? Everybody play their role. At the end of the day, it's like everybody gonna play their role regardless, whether you believe it or not. Whatever the Bible says, this is gonna be that person, that's gonna be that person, this is gonna be that person. That's your role. Somebody gotta play. Somebody gotta beat the 2/3.
Somebody gotta play the wheat. Somebody gotta play the tear.
Straight up.
You know what I mean? And when he was just talking, man, I started recalling, you know what I mean, like excuses, you know what I mean, that I would not come, you know, right? You know what I'm saying? And these be legitimate excuses, you know what I'm saying? But deep down inside, secretly, I know that there's something off with my spirit, you know what I'm saying? To whereas I don't want to admit that,
right?
So I come up with the decent excuse, you know what I'm saying, to isolate myself.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've been there. It's like, sure, look, the lesson, it's like this lesson is it's well needed. Like we come up with excuses, man. It's like everybody want to be frontline until it's time to be frontline.
No way.
Everybody want to love each other until it's time to love each other. It's like, no, look, when you isolate from each other, it's God that do the isolation, not you. You see David done isolation, and look what happened. Come on.
Verse 8. And David said to Uriah, go down to thy house and wash thy feet. And Uriah departed out of the king's house, and there followed him a mess of meat from the king. But Uriah slept at the door of the king's house with all the servants of his master, and went not down to his house. And when they had told David, saying, Uriah went not down unto his house, David said unto Uriah, camest thou not from thy journey? Why then didst thou not go down unto thy house? And Uriah said unto David, the ark and Israel and Judah abide in tents, and my master Joab and the servants of my master are encamped in the open fields. So I then go into mine house to eat and to drink and to lie with my wife? As thou livest, and as thy soul liveth, I will not do this thing.
He said, look, that's a straight faithful friend. He said, look, all this war's going on. He said, look, I ain't got time to go down there and what? Lay with my wife.
Right.
To eat.
Right.
So I ain't got time for that. But David trying to what? Cover up his tracks.
That's right.
Come on.
And David said to Uriah, tarry here today also, and tomorrow I will let thee depart. So Uriah abode in Jerusalem that day and the morrow. And when David had called him, he did eat and drink before him, and he made him drunk. And at evening he went out to lie on his bed with the servants of his master, but went not down to his house.
Right.
And it came to pass in the morning that David wrote a letter to Joab,
right,
and sent it by the hand of Uriah.
Right.
And he wrote in the letter saying, set ye Uriah in the forefront of the hottest battle,
right,
and retire ye from him, that he may be smitten and die.
So look, now he telling Joab, he said, look, put Uriah in the front, and then once y'all get in front, you go to the back, and then you let him be killed. All because David decided to what? Isolate himself from a battle. So just imagine, it's like right now, it's like a spiritual war that's going on in Israel right now. And our whole thing is to be there for your brothers or be there for your sister, build each other up, show each other what's going on in the world. But then you decide to isolate yourself back from, you know, your brothers and sisters. And then doing that isolation, going back, it's like, okay, now somebody get killed. It's like you're supposed to be guarding the body. Guarding the body. So you got to be careful when you decide to isolate yourself from your brothers and sisters. It's like at the end of the day, say, let God isolate. You don't isolate. You see what happened when David isolated. Now somebody has to die. Not only Uriah had to die, the baby had to die.
And it came to pass when Joab observed the city that he assigned Uriah unto a place where he knew that violent men were. And the men of the city went out and fought with Joab. And there fell some of the people of the servants of David. And Uriah the Hittite died also. And Joab sent and told David all the things concerning the war.
Right.
And charged the messenger, saying, when thou hast made an end of telling the matters of the war unto the king, and if so be that the king's wrath arise, and he say unto thee, wherefore approacheth ye so nigh unto the city when ye did fight? Knew ye not that they would shoot from the wall?
Come on.
Who smote Amalek, the son of Jerubbesheth? Did not a woman cast a piece of millstone upon him from the wall, that he died in the Bez? Why went ye nigh the wall? Then say thou, thy servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. So the messenger went out and came and showed David all that Joab had sent him for. The messenger said unto David, surely the men prevailed against us, and came out unto us into the field, and we were upon them even unto the entering of the gate. And the shooter shot from off the wall upon thy servants.
Come on.
And some of the king's servants be dead, and thy servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. Then David said unto the messenger, thus shalt thou say unto Joab, let not this thing displease thee. The sword devour one as well as another.
Come on.
Make thy battle more strong against the city.
Do what?
Make thy battle more strong against the city.
So now you see David trying to give what? War advice. How are you trying to give war advice, telling him to make the battle more strong against the city and overtake it when you sat back and didn't go to war?
Oh man, bro. I like this lesson. Because I see it. It's like let's say for instance me. If I'm sitting back and I'm isolating myself, you know what I'm saying, from my brothers. Not just one day, not just 2 days, but 1 week. And 1 week turns into 2 weeks. And my isolation, because I done said, you know, I'm not with all the confusion. You know, the Most High is not the author of confusion. You know what I'm saying? Whatever excuse that might come up. But 2 weeks done went by, and 3 weeks done went by. You know what I'm saying? And pretty soon, a month and a half done went by. But now, you know what I'm saying, when something does occur, whatever the case may be, you know, oh, I got advice for that. Well, you know, you got to do it like this, that, and the third. Well, Nick, well, how come my butt wasn't, you know, in fellowship with my brothers? You know what I'm saying? Why is it that, you know what I'm saying, that we can just take a month and a half off, 2 months off? You know, I might take a day or two off, and I feel bad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, for myself, and then when I gotta see my brothers, you know what I'm saying, then I get grilled. And no, I want to say this real quick, if I may. No, this is not one of those fraternities or whatever not that you gotta report into. So Negroes, please don't be simple.
Right.
You know, this is if we ought to be looking like that, well then yeah, we do have to, you know what I'm saying, report. We have to report to the Mashiach because he died for us. And as we can see, you know what I'm saying, his word is coming to pass. There's pestilence upon the earth. And I know we can read, and there's so many signs that are just being written right in front of us. But we want to isolate ourselves. And I'm getting the lesson, bro. I'm getting the lesson. Hallelujah.
All praise. All right, so we from there we're gonna go to Luke chapter 4. Go to Luke 4, we're gonna start on verse 1. But again, we have to let Yahweh isolate us, and we can't isolate ourselves, because doing that, you can get somebody in the body killed because you're supposed to be guarding the body of Christ.
That's right.
So like we need each other. The body need each other. The body need its arms, it need its legs, it need its toes, it need its feet.
Definitely need each other, man.
We need each other. What I say we going?
Luke
4. Luke 4.
Luke 4.
All right. So we're going to Luke chapter 4, family. We're going to start at verse 1, and then we're going to 1 through 16.
All right. Luke chapter 4, verse 1. And Yahushua, being full of the Holy Ruach, returned from Jordan, right, and was led by the Spirit into the wilderness.
And was what?
And was led by the Spirit into the wilderness.
So look, this goes to show you have to be led by the Spirit into isolation. No, you can't tell yourself, I'm going to isolate myself from my brothers or my sisters or from whoever. It says he was led by the Spirit. By the Spirit. It didn't say he led himself. He said the Spirit led him into the wilderness, right? So he's led into what? Isolation. Come on.
Being 40 days tempted of the devil. And in those days...
And he was what?
Being tempted of the devil.
So look, it's letting you know, during isolation, you will be tempted of who? The devil. You see what happened with David. He was in isolation. He isolated himself. So it's like, okay, look, since you want to isolate yourself, now you're going to be tempted. He was tempted of the devil and he failed the mission. He lusted after this woman, committed adultery, got the husband killed. You got Joab them going to lion. Joab them playing what is that when you do something and then I'm there with you?
The fall guy or
no, it's like it's like if you go to jail, if you go rob a bank and I'm on the
talking about the dang it.
But guilty by association, not that, whatever. It's like
accomplice.
Yeah. It's like now you got Joab playing the accomplice.
Yeah. Accomplice.
Sure, accomplice. Yeah, you got him playing the accomplice. He know what's going on, but Uriah don't even know he's gonna be killed. All because David isolated himself. Come on.
Being 40 days tempted of the devil.
Right.
And in those days he did eat nothing.
He did what?
He did eat nothing.
So look, for 40 days he had nothing to eat. And he's being tempted by Satan. Come on.
When they were ended, he afterward hungered.
Right. So he was hungry, right? Just like any of us. Some people fast for 2 days and get super hungry. It said he fasted for 40 days. And then he got hungry. Come on.
And the devil said unto him,
come on,
if thou be the son of YAH, come on, command these stones that it may be made bread.
So do you think that Satan was up there with him? Like, no, he had that battle in his mind. It's that battle inside your mind. It said he was led by the Spirit into the wilderness. He was isolated from everybody. So he's up there by himself in the wilderness, being tempted of Satan. So Satan is trying to plague his mind. So the thing is this, when you're isolating yourself from your brothers and sisters, Satan, he comes and plague your mind during that time. So now he's playing these thoughts into your head, just like, well, this brother said this, or that sister said this. Oh man, last Shabbat, he looked at me wrong. I didn't get a good shalom. He don't even hit me up no more. You don't call me. You don't pull up on me. So he played all those thoughts inside your mind. So you have to be careful. You have to be careful when you in that wilderness. Make sure when you in that wilderness, you are praying. What it says in Jeremiah chapter 29, we open up with, it says, look, you praying, you seek, and you will find me, and I will give you what? Peace. So you got to be careful when you're isolating or being in isolation. Come on.
And Yahushua answered him, saying, it is written.
It is what?
It is written.
Come on.
That man shall not live by bread alone.
Come on.
But by every word out of Yahweh. And the devil taking him up into an high mountain.
Come on.
Showed unto him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time.
So look, you got people like they isolate themselves because what? Now they're caught up into the world. So now Christ he's been isolated, right? So now he's showing him all the riches of the world. So now he's trying to take Christ's mindset off the word of God. That's anytime you're in that isolation or you're separating yourselves from others, this is what's going on. So now you're being showed the world. It's like, look, look what TikTok. This is what's going on in TikTok. You know what I'm saying? Buy this car can do this. Or get this house is that. Buy these clothes and you can look good. So now he's showing him the world. That's what goes on with people when they isolate themselves. So now they're getting comfortable and being shown the world. And some people take hold to that word, to the world, I mean. And those are the seeds that fall on what, stony ground? Stony ground. Said the world choked the word up out of him. But the Messiah, the word is not going to get choked up out of him because he is the word.
That's right.
Come on.
Yeah. Use that stimulus package to buy some rims.
Yeah. Most definitely.
Get some shoes.
Right.
Get your hair done. Well, I could do hair, girl. We doing it at my house. You know, bring some of that Remy over too.
Come to my crib. Yeah.
And you get that stimulus check. You understand?
Straight up. You get your stimulus check. Yeah, I'm gonna give me a big body truck on some 26s.
You know what I'm saying?
What the hell I'm doing with a F-150 on some 26s? I got 6 children.
You feel me?
It don't make sense.
Man.
It don't make sense.
But yeah,
come on.
That's how the devil be talking to you.
Hey, yeah, that's how it work though. And it's like, hey, look, I'm just speaking from experience. It's just like I always isolated myself from certain. I hate chaos. I always isolated myself. And it's like every time it seemed like I isolated myself, it was like Satan came harder and harder. And I used to wonder, I'm like, dang, you know, like, y'all, what am I doing? What did I do to this individual? It's like, what did I do to this man? This man don't like me for no reason. I said nothing to, I never did nothing to this man. Why him? Most I like, oh, look, because you isolated yourself. I'm going to keep whooping you. Since you want to isolate yourself, I'm going to keep whooping you. It's like, no, I isolate people. And then once I realized it, I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, look, I'm going to let you take the wheel.
Right.
I'm going to let you do it. Just tell me what to say, when to say it, how to say it, and then I'll move. I'll move. However, whenever you tell me to move, I'll move.
If thou therefore will worship me, and all shall be thine. And Yahushua answered and said unto him, get thee behind me.
Do what?
Get thee behind me.
Come on.
Hashatan, for it is written.
For it is what?
For it is written.
Come on.
Thou shalt worship the Master, thy Elohim, and him only shall thou serve.
Come on.
And he brought him to Jerusalem and set him on a pinnacle of the temple.
Right.
And said unto him, if thou be the bond of Yahweh, cast thyself down from hence.
What?
For it is written.
Come on.
He shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee.
And look, these are the depression thoughts. These are, if anybody got suicidal thoughts, this is why. Satan, he comes during your time of isolation. He understands what you in the most, he understands that you're trying to get right with God. So he comes to you. He's like, all right, look, kill yourself. Do you believe that the Most High gonna raise you? We all believe we're gonna be resurrected.
Right.
So just imagine him telling you, just coming into your head, like, look, you got a 4-5, kill yourself. You believe in the resurrection, don't you? You believe God gonna resurrect you. Go and kill yourself. Let's see. That's how he played old mind games. He's not your friend. He's not your friend. That's your enemy. Come on.
And in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash thy foot against a stone.
Right.
And Yahushua answered, said unto him, and Yahushua answering said unto him, it is said, thou shalt not tempt the Master thy Elohim.
Come on.
And when the devil had ended all the temptation,
he did what?
When he had ended all the temptation,
come on,
he departed from him.
He did what?
He departed for a season.
So look, doing all this, notice he said that the Messiah was tempted, just like you. You get tempted just like the Messiah was tempted. And it says, look, he gave him script and he departed from him for just a season. A season is 4 months, and then it comes right back around. He comes back. He comes back. Every time you try to get better, he's like, all right, you get him away, victory. He's coming back. This time he's coming back stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger.
And the reason why he's coming back stronger and stronger and stronger is because every time you get a victory, you get stronger.
Yeah, you get stronger. Every time you get a victory, you get stronger.
You start getting stronger and you get more confident. Like remember when it says Paul was with all confidence.
With all confidence, right?
So you start being more confident. Like you can start seeing growth in people because they have overcome temptation. When you see growth in a person or whatever, or change in a person, you know that they have overcome something positive and they went through something, And I'm talking about a good change, not one of those horrible changes like you being shocked, like what the hell happened to you? You know what I mean? But the good change where it's like, wow, Most High really touched you,
All praises. All right, so we're gonna go to Daniel. Now, before we go to Daniel, we're gonna go to Genesis chapter 32. We're gonna hit a couple verses. We're gonna do 24 through 29.
Genesis 32.
Yeah. Before we hit Genesis 32, we're gonna hit Genesis 4 real quick. I just want to show something real quick. We're gonna go to Genesis chapter 4, verse 7, and then we'll hit Genesis 32. I just want to hit one verse.
6 and 7.
Okay, we're gonna Genesis chapter 4, we're gonna hit 6 and 7. Is everybody get some understanding in the chat? Put some answers. Everybody get some understanding. So we'll make sure we don't want to court.
I believe in it.
Oh, praise.
Make it make sense Monday.
Make it make sense Monday.
Yeah. Make it make sense, man.
Right, you can't say milk no more.
Make it make sense. You want to isolate yourself or whatever. Not
make it make sense.
Make it make sense, man. Tell me why. Well, because I don't like the way they, and you know what I'm saying, and they be thinking, and man, look here, man. Make it make sense, man. Stop all that whining and crying and stuff like that or whatever. Now you want things to change, whatever. Now will help change come along.
Right.
You know what
Most
I mean?
Definitely.
And that's the whole thing about it is, people be acting like they in church or whatever now and they can't talk. Nah, you know what I'm saying? We are brethren, and just like how you talk to your big mama, your cousin in them, and they still out there in the world, you talk to them about being this, that, and the third or whatever, whatnot. Well, come on to your spiritual family and do the same thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Start pulling certain people to the side or whatever. If you have, whatever the reason why you ain't coming around. Yeah. Whatever the reason why you ain't coming around. You know what I'm saying?
For real, it's like, man, look, it's like we have to be real in this hour, Israel. Like for real, just like keep it 100 with each other. It's like, look, okay, bro, I felt this kind of way about you, and I was wrong. That's why I ain't come around. Okay, sis, I felt this kind of way about you. You know what I'm saying? That's why I ain't come around. It's like whatever the case may be, just let it go. Let it go, so we can actually build with each other.
That's right.
Actually, straight live with peace among man. Like, do you understand like how it will feel if everybody was on one accord? Peace every single day.
Right.
Every day. Peace. You ain't got to worry about nothing at all with each other every day. It's like you'll be practicing the kingdom on earth. It's like we will already have it.
That's right.
We will already have it. We would straight have our own kingdom mindset down here on earth. So when it's time for get the New Jerusalem, we already been practicing that since here.
That's right.
We already got it. We already done conquered it.
That's right.
You know what Satan hates? He hates when everybody is in unity. He hates that. When a spirit of love is vibrating, he hates it. That's when he vanishes. He shakes, don't want to come around. He cannot manifest himself when that love is vibrating at a high frequency. It just can't. It's like a child. It's like if I walk into the crib and I'm mad, I get off work and I walk into the crib mad. Everybody in my house say they feel it. Everybody get quiet. Don't nobody say nothing to daddy. Or they go to mommy, be like, mommy, what's wrong with daddy? Like everybody feel that. But if I come in there all happy, everybody, daddy, hey daddy, how was work? Give me a hug. My wife give me a good kiss. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
You change the you can change the energy in the room. You can.
That's right. That's right. And having us all together can change the energy in this world, you know. But when he's talking about everybody, he's talking about Israel. You know what I'm saying, right?
Right.
You know, I know just so good for the simple, for you simple people that's listening or whatever. Like he's talking about us as us brethren.
Yeah, it's brethren, man. Just like look, it's brethren and sisters. It's like look, at the end of the day, it's like okay, when it's a body, the sisters can't mingle and show sisterhood unless the brotherhood is tight.
Right.
If we ain't tight, they not gonna be tight. No. The brotherhood has to be tight first, or the sisterhood see it's a light bulb. It's an example. Okay, look, hey sisters, like look, we need to get tight like the brothers. Why we ain't tight like the brothers? You know, we shouldn't have to look at the sisters and be like, man, we need to be like the sisters. Like, nah, I'm not kicking against the sisters or none of that. I'm just saying, just like for men of Israel, we supposed to be examples and leaders.
That's right.
It's like, okay, look, in order for that to happen, it's like we have to be tight. Me and this brother has to be tight. Me and this brother got to be tight. So to where my rib and his rib super tight.
That's right.
My rib and his rib super tight. That's how it has to happen. But come on, we're gonna go to Genesis chapter 4, verse 6 and 7. We're just gonna hit these two verses just to show something real quick.
And the Most High said unto Cain, why art thou wroth? And why is thy countenance fallen?
Right.
If thou doest well.
If thou do what?
If thou doest well.
Right.
Shall thou not be accepted?
So look, think about David, right? Think about David. David did not do well, right? He didn't do well. So during that time, when he was praying to the Most High about that baby, it was not accepted. It was not accepted because he did not do well, right? Come on.
And if thou dost not well,
right?
Sin lieth at the door.
What lieth at the door?
Sin lieth at the door.
So look, you got to be careful because Christ is the door and sin lie at the door. So which door you gonna open? Which door you gonna open? Christ the door and sin lie at the door. Which door you gonna open? David decided to open the sin door, right? And then notice it says sin is at the door. Come on.
And unto thee shall be his desire.
Now look, remember, Eve lusted after the tree, right? She said she saw the tree and the tree was what? Desire, right? She desired after this tree. She longed for this tree. She lusted for this tree. She longed for it. She wanted this tree to make her wise, right? Notice it said death, you is death desire. Death desires you. Do you understand that? It's like death wants you. Death desires you. Death is like, I want Eve so bad. Death does. But come on.
And unto thee shall be his desire.
Come on.
And thou shalt rule over him.
So look, just letting you know, unless you conquer sin, you're going to die. Your whole thing is to what? Rule over him. Notice it called sin of him. It's called sin of him. You're supposed to rule over your lust, over desires. You're supposed to rule over sin. So during your time of isolation, you're supposed to rule over that desire. Rule over death, because at the end of the day, sin is the wages of what? Death.
The wages of sin.
Yeah, the wages of sin is death.
That was it on that one.
All right. So now we're gonna go to Acts chapter 10. Genesis chapter 32. I just want to go here and show like how we supposed to have the power and we supposed to rule over death. God gave us dominion over the earth, gave us dominion over these spirits, gave us dominion over sin. But it's like when we isolate ourselves, it's like we're giving isolation during that time. We're giving Satan so much power over us because when we isolate ourselves, it's like we don't want to be around nobody. And now since you don't want to be around nobody, none of the script applies where it says edify one another, love one another, be there for one another, carry each other's burden. How can you carry somebody's burden if you by yourself? It doesn't make sense. Like, make it make sense.
That's right.
How can you love your brother or love your sister when you're not around them, when you're isolated? It doesn't make sense. So it's like you believe in 30% of the Bible. 30%.
I just want to read one script. Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1, it says this right here. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired. I'm going to have to read verse 2. Before the decree, bring forth before the day pass as a chaff, before the fierce anger of the Most High come upon you, before the day of the Most High's anger come upon you. So it tells us to gather ourselves.
Yeah, gather ourselves together, man. Really.
You know, this is
I'm gonna keep it 100. I need all y'all.
Right.
I need every last one. Hey, look, every last one of y'all, man. Like, look, we need each other. Straight up. So look, we can't, again, like, let Yahweh isolate you. Don't isolate yourself. Remember that. Let Yahweh isolate you. Don't isolate yourself. We're gonna start in verse 20, I believe, I guess. 24. We're gonna start verse 24.
Genesis chapter 32, verse 24.
Yeah. We're gonna start in verse 21.
Verse 21.
Yeah.
So went the
Hold on. Trying to get the screen. Say it for your brother, family. All right, come on. 22? Okay, yeah, we're starting 22. Genesis chapter 32, verse 22.
And he rose up that night and took his 2 wives and his 2 women servants,
right,
and his 11 sons,
right,
and passed over the ford of Habbak.
Right. So this is Jacob, right? Notice he took his family with him, and he's passing over the ford Jabbok. Come on.
And he took them and sent them over the brook,
right,
and sent over that he had.
Right.
And Jacob was left alone.
He was what?
Was left alone.
So look, Jacob is by himself. He's here by himself. Jacob is. Come on.
And there wrestled a man with him until the break of the day.
And he did what?
And wrestled a man with him until the break of the day.
So look, he's wrestling with an angel, right? Until the break, he's wrestling with this angel all day long. All day long. Just imagine this is you being left alone in your isolation, and you're wrestling with the man that you're wrestling with is yourself. You're wrestling with yourself all day long. You're trying to conquer yourself, doing your isolation from your family. Because remember, he just had his whole family with him. Right. So doing yourself to get right for not just for you, but for your family also. Mm-hmm. Come on.
And when he saw that he prevailed not against him,
right,
he touched the hollow of his thigh.
Right.
And the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint.
Right.
As he wrestled with him.
So look, look, it don't matter. His whole joint, and that's where hip hop come from. His whole joint then just came up out of his hip. He didn't crack. He's still wrestling with his angel, right? Still wrestling. That's how you should be. Like, look, it don't matter how many cuts and bruises you get when you're wrestling yourself or going through with these principalities or these different spirits. You keep fighting.
That's right.
You keep fighting. You keep fighting. Keep fighting till the death of you. You see, he fighting all day. Like, look, I ain't going nowhere. Whether my leg broke or not, hip that came out of place or not, I'm still wrestling. That's how you should be. Come on.
And when he saw, verse 26, and he said, let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go.
He said, what?
I will not let thee go.
Come on.
Except thou bless me.
Now look, he's wrestling with his angel. And he told his angel, look, the angel like, let me go. He said, no, I ain't letting you go until you bless me. That's how we should be holding on to the Messiah.
That's right.
Like, look, doing all your battles that you going through with your mind, he's trying to breaking your mind. Just imagine like that Jacob's hip coming up out of place. Just imagine that's the Messiah breaking all that pride from you, breaking that lust from you, breaking all that from you, right? Destroying the mind to rebuild it. You like, look, I don't care what you breaking me. You do what you got to do, but I ain't letting you go until you bless me. That's how we should be.
That's right.
Come on.
And he said unto him, what is thy name?
He said, what?
What is thy name?
Come on.
And he said, Yaakov.
He said, what?
Yaakov.
Come on.
And he said, thy name shall be called no more Yaakov, but Israel.
So look, everybody got new names. Everybody didn't change their name, right?
That's right.
Everybody didn't change their name. I'm no longer William. I go by Uriel because God is my light.
I'm no longer Juanito.
Right, no longer Juanito.
I go by Yakinan.
Yakinan. Because you have conquered yourself to get that new name.
That's right.
You conquer yourself to get that new name.
But
doing your isolation.
But you know the devil come and try to bring your own name back up.
Right. Oh yeah. He gonna come and try to bring that old name back up. Always. Come on with it.
For as a prince.
Hey, Bruce Thompson, Bill.
for as a prince has thou power with YAH.
Come on.
And with men.
Right.
And has prevailed.
And has what?
And has prevailed.
So look, during your isolation, you supposed to be conquering, destroying Satan, your inner demons. Well, not your demons, because you don't own demons. His demons. To get closer to YAH.
That's right. I remember when I was in East Block in San Quentin. That's the whole. And they got on the side where they have Ag Seg. There's like two tiers of people in on death row, and like they have 3 tiers of people on. That's in Ag Seg. That's in the hole. And I was in there for 9 months total, but like once a week they'll let me go to the yard, and I would go to the yard with other people, you know what I'm saying, be around other people, and I would pass by all these cages with, you know what I'm saying, with people that's on death row and stuff like that, and then I would go into my cage, and I can look at certain people. Like now we can look at certain people in their eyes and see like, there ain't nobody ticking up in there. There ain't nobody up in there. You know, the little hamster's not, you know, twirling the what you call it.
Right.
You know,
the spin wheel. Right.
And me, because there was a guy up under me to the right, and he used to like make all these kinds of noises. Now I knew that he was possessed. You know what I'm saying? But back then I just thought that he just lost it because of being in isolation. Because being in isolation, you know what I'm saying, can break you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it'll break you.
It can truly break you, you know, to whereas I've seen people break, to whereas I had to battle, you know what I'm saying, all kinds of stuff while I was in there mentally. And so I'm looking at it now to whereas the isolation of me being in prison, am I the one that went off and was crazy? Or am I the one that kept a steady head and walked up out of there, you know what I mean, more sharper, you know what I'm saying, or whatever than I was when I went in there. Right. You know what I'm saying, in isolation. And I see the two differences of being in isolation, what you're saying. One is by God and one is by your own self. And this can happen to you, you know what I'm saying. You can go completely off.
Right. Yeah.
Completely off. If you go into your own isolation and then you get whooped by the demon.
Yep. So that's why it's like he let the isolation of YAH take over the isolation of self. So it's all about.
Genesis chapter 32.
Oh yeah, we done with that. We're gonna go to Jasher. We're gonna go to Jasher, chapter 3. We're gonna start in verse 1. I gotta pull that up.
I'm still on. I'm sorry, I started thinking about the land of Goshen.
we talk about
you know, and that right there, man. Look, that's gonna be a beautiful thing too, because there ain't no damn hide no more.
Right. Ain't no.
I'm not coming out, about whatever, say that I'm living. No, get your butt up,
Come on with it. Yeah. You ain't got no choice. Come outside. Yeah.
ain't no high, no nothing, and that's why I say, that's why I also look forward to it, my brother, because I can wake up in the morning and be like, knowing that Uriel right there, Maccabees right there, YAH right there,
right,
Jedediah
right there, yeah, bro. He right there, right.
Whoever, all the Nehemiah, everybody is within walking distance,
right,
or they can hear me, cuckoo, what I mean? Hush your mouth up. You've been doing that all night, But that right there is gonna be the beautiful thing. And then you're with your brothers. When you with if I'm cold and I know that you cold, I can't say that I'm cold because I know that you're
cold, right? Most there.
And you ain't complaining. You know what I'm saying? Right. I want to be the one to be, man, struggle, man. You know what I'm saying? We can do it. We can make it. If you start, man, I can't make it. No, yes, you can. I want to be that one that want to say that. Right. You know what I mean? Other than I'm gonna bite my lip. Right.
But in order for you to say we can do this, we can do that, you gotta be there. You gotta be there. You gotta be there. You can't say we gonna do something. You by yourself.
Right.
Who is we?
Boy,
now you sound like a right. Now you sound like a double-minded man.
Boy, like
right? Sure. Come on with it.
Joshua chapter 3.
You want to start in verse 1?
Joshua chapter 3, verse 1. You open it up, son?
No. Oh yeah. Sorry, fam. Boom. All right.
And Enoch lived 65 years.
Right.
And he begot Methuselah.
Right.
And Enoch walked with the Elohim.
He walked with who?
With Elohim.
Right. So it's like, look, Enoch, he walked with God. All right. Does it mean he physically walked with God? Or was his walk with God different? He had that spiritual walk with God. We tell each other all the time, like, yeah, my walk with God is different from yours. Mm-hmm. My walk with God is different from yours.
My walk in life.
My walk in life. It's like, look, he said the path is straight and narrow. In order to get on the path, you have to walk that path, right?
That's right.
Come on.
After having begot Methuselah, and he served the master and despised the evil ways of men.
And he did what?
And despised the evil ways of men.
So look, this is Enoch. He despised the evil ways of men. He didn't enjoy the evil ways of men. He didn't enjoy it. He didn't like it. He didn't take pleasure in it. He said he despised it. To despise something means you hate it. Let's say righteous hate. Mm-hmm. He despised the evil ways of men. Come on.
And the soul of Enoch was wrapped up in the instructions of the master.
It said his soul. Do y'all like look at that? It says his soul, your inner being, is wrapped in the instructions of the Lord. That is so beautiful. Mm-hmm. Like your whole well-being is all about pleasing your God. It said his soul is wrapped in instructions of the Lord. So everything that he think about is about God.
That's right. Every single thing.
He's breathing God. When he go to sleep, he think about God. When he wakes up, it's nothing about, it's just all pure Most High. It's wrapped in it. That's just like Joseph. He had that coat. He was wrapped in that coat. Now you can see that coat and be like, dang. His brothers was jealous about that coat. Right. And they saw the coat. Just imagine that your soul is wrapped in instructions of the Lord. Men will despise you. Come on.
In knowledge.
Right.
And in understanding.
Come on.
And he wisely retired from the sons of men.
He did what?
And he wisely retired from the sons of men.
Come on.
And secreted himself from them for many days.
Come on.
And it was at the expiration of many years.
All right.
While he was serving the master.
While he was doing what?
While he was serving the master.
Come on.
And praying before him in his house.
Come on.
That an angel of the Most High called to him from heaven.
Uh-huh.
And he said, here am I.
Come on.
And he said, rise, go forth from thy house, and from the place where thou dost hide thyself.
Come on.
And appear to the sons of men.
Come on.
In order that thou may teachest them the way in which they should go.
So now you see Enoch, right? He's separated from the sons of men. the evil sons of men, not the righteous sons of men. He separated himself from the evil men. So now, since he separated himself, the Most High has appeared to him. Say, okay, look, now since you separated yourself, you go and teach them the ways of me. Come on.
And the works which they must accomplish to enter into the ways of YAH.
Come on.
And Enoch rose up according to the word of the Most High. And he went forth from his house.
Come on.
From his place.
Right.
And from the chamber in which he was concealed. And he went to the sons of men. And taught them the ways of Yahweh.
And did what?
And taught them the ways of Yahweh.
So look, here you have Enoch. He was separated from men, right? He separated himself from these wicked men. And then the Most High told him to go and teach them. Now, since you've separated yourself from them, now I'm commanding you to do what? Go teach them. He kept his charge and he went and go teach these men. Think about David. David is the king of Israel. You know what adultery is. You know the ways of God. You was brought up knowing about God. But since you was isolated from the war, your whole mindset was stuck on what? Satan. It was not wrapped in the instructions of the Lord during that time. His was.
And at that time assembled the sons of men and acquainted them with the instructions of Yahweh. And he ordered it to be proclaimed in all places where the sons of men dwelt,
right,
saying, where is the man who wishes to know the ways of Yahweh and good works?
Come on.
Let him come to Enoch.
Come to who?
Let him come to Enoch.
Come on.
And all the sons of men then assembled to him, for all who desired the things went to Enoch.
Come on.
And Enoch reigned over the sons of men according to the word of Yah. And they came and bowed to him.
Right.
And they heard his word.
So now look, now you have these men, right, being taught by Enoch. And it said Enoch reigned over these men. Reigned over these men, and these men had no problem.
Right.
They was cool with it.
That's right.
So nowadays, when somebody has given the Most High had given anybody the spirit to teach people or the spirit to be over somebody, certain people separate themselves because of that. You see, these men didn't. It's like, okay, look, if the Most High dealing with him, I'm going to listen to him. That's who the Spirit of God is upon during this time. So verse 8 says what?
And the Spirit of Yah was upon Enoch.
Come on.
And he taught all his men the wisdom of Yahweh.
Right.
And his ways.
Right.
And the sons of men served the Most High all the days of Enoch. And they came to hear his wisdom.
Come on.
And all the kings of the sons of men,
right,
both first and last,
right,
together with their princes and judges, came to Enoch when they heard of his wisdom. And they bowed down to him. And they also required of Enoch to reign over them, to which he consented. And they assembled in all 130 kings and princes. And they made Enoch king over them, and they were all under his power and command.
Come on.
And Enoch taught them wisdom.
Taught them what?
Taught them wisdom.
Right.
Knowledge.
Right.
In the ways of the master.
Right.
And he made peace amongst them.
He did what?
And he made peace amongst them. And peace was throughout the earth during the life of Enoch.
Hallelujah. Come on, verse 4.
And Enoch reigned over the sons of men 243 years.
Right.
And he did justice,
right,
and righteousness with all his people.
Come on.
And he led them in the ways of the master.
All right, that's it for that. Just going to show you how when Enoch was isolated, during his time of isolation, the Most High was teaching him certain things. So he went and taught the sons of men. These men were evil. Now he went and had these men whole mindset about the ways of the Most High. So now these people have been what? Repented from their ways. But then once he passed away or whatnot, then all the men end up going what? Back into their old ways.
Right.
During the days of Noah. So you remember this, he was before.
No.
He was before.
No.
So he was teaching these men the right way of God, and then they ended up going backsliding.
And also too, you know what I mean, the Most High was dealing with them.
Right, the Most High was dealing with them.
And if the Most High is dealing with a person, that's a light, right? Well, then you bring your light to that light, and it shines even brighter. You know what I'm saying? And you just add on. You know, each and every one of us add on, bring ourselves to like for me, for instance, I found out that I was an Israelite out here in St. Louis. I didn't go back to California, you know what I'm saying, or to Chicago and be like, you know, and stay out there and just say, yeah, we're Israelites, this and all that, or whatever or not. I knew that I was gonna get smothered.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I knew, because you know, we know our family. You know what I'm saying? My family is horrendous. You know, so I'm talking about, man, you see my mama how she was when she came out. so anyway, so I knew that I needed to be here, you know, to continue to receive, you know what I mean, that light to help me out of whatever, you know, that I needed help to get out of. Right. And then that was accomplished. Now it's helped me to be stronger in the Most High. Now that is being accomplished as we speak. And now it's like, okay, well, help me to get beyond whatever's going on right here, you know. And it's not like I was doing it myself. I surrounded myself with y'all. Right. You know what I mean? And that's where it goes where you're talking about, like Enoch, when somebody's being dealt with by the Most High, there's certain of us men and women, you know, saying that, hey, you know what I mean, the Most High is dealing with him. No. He getting instructions, you know what I'm saying? His Holy Spirit and all that is dealing with him. I think we should all, you know what I'm saying,
take heed. Yeah. Right.
Take heed. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I get that. But a lot of I'll say this, a lot of our brothers, can't no man tell me nothing, can't no man teach me nothing. The Most High teaches me. Well, I know it was a man that told you, you know what I'm saying, that your ass was an Israelite. Yeah. It was a man that told you that. We just read Enoch taught the sons of men. You feel me? But they don't. But I obviously don't read Jasher no more. You know what I'm saying? Or if they have, you know, they done skimmed over this part. But they will say, and I'm talking about our brothers that we know. Can't no man teach me, you know what I'm saying, nothing about the Most High. The Most High will teach me. Okay, right. That's why you isolate yourself or whatever the case may be. That's why you don't come around as much or whatever. Well, I don't need to come around, you know. I do this here and I do that there. You don't know, you don't be around. There's all kinds of excuses, and those excuses sound good. But all in all, you know what I'm saying, we going off. Yeah. Am I done with the yeah, we're done with that. Okay. We're gonna go to Exodus chapter 34. We're gonna start at verse 27. Exodus 34, 24. Yeah, Exodus chapter 34. And we're gonna start in verse 27. I'm sure I'm in Genesis. Yeah, Exodus 34. My fault. I'm trying to hold on. Wait a minute. I'm sure. Sorry, fam. Yeah, Exodus 34. We're gonna start in verse 27. Exodus 34, verse 27. Oh, let me get that, bro. All right. The Most High said unto Moshe, write thou these words. Right. For after the tenure of these words, I have made a covenant with thee and with Israel. Come on. So notice Moses, he's isolated from who? The children of Israel. You remember they was afraid. They was like, you know what, Moses? You go talk to God. We good. We good. I ain't going up there. Right. So you go talk to God, right? So now you see Moses is isolated from the children of Israel. Right. During his isolation, he's getting what? Instructions. Mm-hmm. So anytime that the Most High is isolating somebody, they are getting what? Instructions.
They're getting instructions. They not just isolating themselves because they mad at this person or they mad at that person or they don't feel right or I just don't want to be around. Say no. When the Most High isolates these people, they are getting what? Instructions. When Enoch was isolated, right before that, it said his soul was wrapped in instructions. So if his soul was wrapped in instructions, that means the Most High is dealing with him. So then when he went back out there to talk to the sons of men, remember, they was evil at one point in time, so he was separated from them. They're just like when the Most High, he tells you when to isolate or separate yourself, when he said, come out from amongst them. That's right? Those are evil men. So Enoch came out from amongst them. So it's letting you know right there. It's like, look, he came out from amongst them, but what did he do? He had to go back and what? Teach these people. So anytime that somebody came out from amongst somebody, they went back and retaught somebody. Think about with Moses when he left Egypt, right? He left Egypt. He left their customs. He left out from amongst them. So that's going to show you right there that Moses was what? Being isolated from the children of Israel. So then when he went and got the instructions from God the first time, he had to go what? Back and get the children of Israel from there and reteach them. Reteach them. Just like with Paul, when he separated from the Pharisees, he had to what? Be retaught. Then he had to go back. Remember, he was isolated. Then Ananias had to what? Take the scales off his eyes. So Paul was in isolation. He was separated. Ananias had to go take the scales off his eyes, and then he had to go back and reteach these people. Right. Had to go back and reteach. Just like with Enoch.
Exodus chapter 34, verse 27. And the Most High said unto Moshe, write down these words. Right. For after the tenure of these words, I have made a covenant with thee and with Israel. And he was there with the Most High 40 days.
For how long?
40 days.
So look, just like the Messiah was tempted of Satan for 40 days. I mean, he fasted for 40 days and he was tempted. You see, Moses, he's up here with the Most High for 40 days getting instructions. Getting instructions. Come on.
And 40 nights.
Come on.
He did neither eat bread nor drink water.
All right.
And he wrote upon the tables the words of the covenant and the 10 commandments. And it came to pass, when Moshe came down from Mount Sinai, with the 2 tables of testimony in Moshe's hand, when he came down from the mount, that Moses was not that the skin of his face shone while he talked with him.
Come on.
When Aaron and all the children of Israel saw Moshe, behold, the skin of his face shone, and they were afraid to come nigh him. And Moses called unto them, and Aaron and all the rulers of the congregation returned unto him, and Moshe talked with them. And afterward, all the children of Israel came nigh, and he gave them in commandment.
He gave them what?
He gave them in commandment.
Come on.
All that the Most High had spoken with him in Mount Sinai.
So look, so when the Most High has separated Moses from the children of Israel during that time, he was up there getting instructions. So while he's getting instructions from the Most High, he got that light shining on him. They just like when people, you could tell when the Most High dealing with somebody, they just got like this aura, as they call it, or we call it this light or the spirit. You can see it on them. You like, man, hey, look, boy, you're shining like new money.
That's right.
You're glowing. Or it's like a sister knowing another sister pregnant. I always hear it. They be like, Ariel glowing. You know, we didn't have 6 children, so I didn't heard it 6 times. It's like, yeah, Ariel, sister Ariel glowing. So that's how we know she pregnant. It's like, dang, yep, you pregnant. It's the glow. It's like, look, Moses is up there getting the instructions from the Most High, doing his isolation, went back and taught the children of Israel. Come on.
Until Moses had done speaking with them, he put a veil on his face. But when Moshe went in before the Most High to speak with him, he took the veil off until he came out. And he came out and spake unto the children of Israel that which he was commanded. And the children of Israel saw the face of Moshe, that the skin of Moshe's face shone. And Moshe put the veil upon his face again until he went in to speak with him.
All right, family. We're going to go to Luke chapter 6. We're just going to hear a couple verses. You know, then we're going to get up out of here. But we're just going to show, like, doing isolation of YAH, he gives you instructions. Doing isolation of YAH, he shows you how to beat the devil. But when you isolate yourself, kind of lose the battle, as we see with David. David is always a good example.
He gives you the isolation when you go into isolation for YAH, or with YAH, he gives you instructions to beat the devil. When you go on isolation for yourself,
you get beat by the devil.
Yeah,
right.
Get beat up.
Right. You get beat by the devil. Right. It's a difference.
There's a major difference.
Everybody get some understanding. Make sure we on one accord. Put some nines up in the room.
Everybody good? Okay.
Yeah, we got some nines. All praises, all praises.
Luke chapter 6.
Yeah, Luke chapter 6. We're gonna start on verse 10. No, we're gonna start on verse 9.
Luke chapter 6, verse 9. Then said Yahshua unto them, I will ask you one thing. Is it lawful on the Shabbat days to do good or to do evil? To save life or to destroy it?
Come on.
And look round about upon them all. And looking round about upon them all, he said unto the man, stretch forth thy hand. And he did so. And his hand was restored whole as the other. And they were filled with madness and communed one with another what they might do to Yahshua. And it came to pass in those days that he went out into a mountain to pray,
right,
and continued all night in prayer to Yah. And when it was day, he called unto him his disciples, and of them he chose 12,
right,
whom also he named apostles.
So look, now you see the Messiah, right? During his time of separation, it was for praying. He prayed, and once he got done praying, he made a decision, right? And his decision was to choose his disciples. So during isolation, it calls for people to what? To pray. That's when you get your answers. So during his time of praying, once he got done praying, now he just made his decision on who his disciples were going to be. Come on.
Verse 14. Simon,
right,
whom he also named Peter, and Andrew his brother, James and John, Philip and Bartholomew, Matthew and Thomas, James, the son of Alphaeus, and Simon called Zealots, and Judas, the brother of James.
Of who?
The brother of James.
Right.
And Judas Iscariot, who also was the traitor.
And hold it there. But I just want to go here to show you that when you're praying, that's that time of isolation. That's that time where you're making your decisions, or you're letting Yahweh make your decisions. So now he's choosing all his disciples. And during this time of him choosing his disciples, he had to choose his traitor. Like, you don't make decisions. You let Yahweh make the decisions. And you see, Christ is our Lord and Savior. So our Lord and Savior is making wise decisions during his isolation.
Right.
So he chose his disciples, and then he chose who his traitors are going to be.
Oh, wow.
So you get your answers when you're isolating yourself from, when Yahweh is isolating you from certain individuals, or isolating you for certain situations. You let Yahweh isolate you. You don't isolate yourself. And then you get your answers. So now you see, he prayed, he got his answers, he chose his disciples, and he chose his traitor. So you get your prayers answered during isolation. All right, we're gonna jump back a chapter. We're gonna chapter 5. We're gonna hit 12 through 16.
Luke chapter 5, verse 12. And it came to pass, when he was in a certain city, behold, a man full of leprosy, who seeing Yahushua fell on his face, and besought him, saying, Master, if thou wilt, thou can make me clean. And he put forth his hand, and touched him, saying, I will, be thou clean.
Right.
And immediately the leprosy departed from him.
How long?
And immediately.
It said it left him immediately. Not 2 weeks, not 2 hours. It said instantly remove the leprosy from him. Come on.
And he charged him to tell no man. So
he told him, look, don't tell nobody at all. Come on.
But go and show thyself to the priest.
Right.
And offer for thy cleansing according right. According as Moshe commanded, for a testimony unto them.
So look, the whole thing is this. When you think about it, the Pharisees was always talking about the law. The law this, the law says this, God says this, the law says this. So Christ's like, okay, but since y'all always talking about the law, all right, y'all supposed to be the high priest. Y'all supposed to be cleansing the leprosy. So look, don't tell nobody. He told him, don't tell no man, but go show yourself to the high priest, right? Go show yourself to the high priest and give them the cleansing offering as a testimony. So when they was to see him being cleansed, their whole mindset is just like, dang, we supposed to be doing, we the high priest. Y'all supposed to be cleansing this. But he's showing them like, look, I am the high priest.
That's right.
Y'all not the high priest. I'm the high priest. He's cleansing everything immediately. You remember that woman was suffering what? She suffered with that blood for 12 years. She touched the garment and it was gone immediately. Come on.
Verse 15. But so much the more went there of fame abroad of him, and great multitudes came together to hear and to be healed by him of their infirmity.
Come on.
And he withdrew himself into the wilderness and prayed.
And did what?
And prayed.
So look, he went into the wilderness, right? His isolation, and he prayed. So when people isolate themselves, they don't go into praying. They just isolate themselves because they don't want to be around nobody.
That's right.
It's a difference.
They want to be lazy, blood clots.
You know what I'm saying? Just like we have to get out of that mindset of just wanting to isolate yourself, to be away from somebody because you don't like how this feels. It doesn't feel good around here, or they didn't rub me the wrong way, this and third. Unless you going into isolation and praying that the Most High fix everything, you supposed to be the peacemaker. Pray that He make you the peacemaker.
And then if you find yourself, from jumping from assembly to assemblies, then you just got to start looking at yourself. Then, like, hold on, man.
Hey, I might be the problem.
Exactly, man. If you've been in the truth for 2 years, but you've been, in 4 different assemblies, then the problem might be you. You know what I'm saying? The problem might be you, cat. Verse 17.
No, that's it for that. We're going to hear one verse, Proverbs 18:1, and then we're going to hear a couple more verses, then we out of here.
Proverbs chapter 18, verse 1. The lot...
No. Proverbs 18:1.
Oh, my bad. I got Proverbs 18:18.
It's all good.
Through desire
through
of
what?
man. Through desire of man.
See, look, it said through desire. It didn't say through God or through Christ or through God's instructions. Like, that's what the problem was with Eve. She had desire after what? That tree. It said through desire, right?
A man, having separated himself.
Having what?
separated himself.
So look, through desire, this man separated himself from people or from the congregation, right? What is he looking for though?
Seeketh and intermeddleth
right
with all wisdom.
So look, you got to be careful. A lot of people separate themselves from people to go out and get knowledge, right? So when they go out, they separate themselves from people to go out and seek different knowledge, to be smart, to be wise, this and third. You end up finding Satan before you find God. Because Satan, that's what he's that tree of knowledge. People want knowledge. People want wisdom. They do anything to get wisdom, to get knowledge, to be seen of men, to be looked at like they just know everything.
Right.
It says through desire. Desire is not always good.
That's right.
And you'll get to picking up all different kind of doctrine. And then you look up, you're a non-Messianic. You don't believe in Christ no more.
Right.
You don't believe in the Bible no more. All of it's tampered with. Then you start believing in all this other stuff, this madness that's going on in the world. It's right. That new age belief. It's so many of them.
You might start believing in the leprechauns and stuff like that.
Hey, for real. Know? It's like, hey,
crazy.
Straight going crazy over seeking and intermeddling instead with all wisdom. With all wisdom. That's it for that. Yeah, that's it for that one, family. We're gonna hit 1 Kings chapter 17. We're gonna do 1 through 9. Then we're gonna do 17 through 24. Then we're gonna get up out of here.
1 Kings chapter 17.
Yeah.
1 Kings chapter 17.
Oh, yeah.
All right, 1 Kings chapter 17, verse 1.
All right.
And Elijah the Tishbite, who was of the inhabitants of Gilead, said unto Ahab, as the Most High Elohim of Israel liveth, before whom I stand, there shall not be dew nor rain these years, but according to my word. And the word of the Most High came unto him, saying, get thee hence.
Do what?
Get thee hence.
So look, now you see the word of the Most High, right? He's telling him to what?
Get thee hence.
To separate himself, right? To go into isolation. Come on.
And turn thee eastward.
Right.
And hide thyself by the brook.
So look, if you're hiding yourself by something, if he's telling you to get from around here and you go, he didn't say take your wife with you, take your children with you. He said you go and you hide yourself. He said by the brook, come on.
By the brook Cherith.
Right.
That is before Jordan.
Right.
And it shall be that thou shalt drink of the brook.
Right.
And I have commanded the ravens to feed thee there. To feed thee there.
So look, he let you know, like, look, I even got birds to feed you.
That's right.
So during your isolation, the Most High is going to take care of you, regardless. Just like when with the Messiah, he was being tempted, and during that time, he was given the word of God. So the word of God was always there with him, took care of him. But remember, he's sitting here getting instructions. Come on.
So he went and did according unto the word of the Most High. For he went and dwelt by the brook Cherith, that is before Jordan.
Come on.
And the ravens brought him bread.
And what did they do?
Brought him bread.
So look, the ravens brought him bread, just like the Most High said it was going to do, right? Come on.
And flesh in the morning.
Come on. And
bread and flesh in the evening.
Come on.
And he drank of the brook.
I'm quite sure that flesh they brought him with some fish.
That's right.
The birds catch fish. Come on.
And it came to pass after a while that the brook dried up.
Come on.
Because there had been no rain in the land. And the word of the Most High came unto him, saying, arise, go thee to Zarephath, which belongeth to Zidon, and dwell there. Behold, I have commanded a widow woman there to sustain thee.
All right, so look, now we're going to jump down to, now you see he's being isolated, right? During his isolation, the Most High is giving him what? Instructions. So during your isolation, when you know it's from God, it's what? Instructions involved. If you're isolating yourself and you're not hearing nothing at all, you isolated yourself. God didn't. Verse 17.
Verse 17. And it came to pass after these things, the son of the woman,
right,
the mistress of the house, fell sick.
Right.
And his sickness was so sore,
right,
that there was no breath left in him.
So look, now during your isolation, the Most High might have you go and do something. So during your isolation, you might have a straight mission.
That's right.
A straight mission. That's why it's good to let the Most High isolate you. Now you see, every time the Most High isolated somebody, they had a mission they had to accomplish.
Right. Yeah.
They had a straight mission they had to accomplish. The Messiah was isolated. His mission was accomplished. He had to choose his disciples and choose his traitor. Elijah being separated, the Most High said, look, I'm going to have some birds bring you your food. You're going to drink the water going to dry up. And then after that, I need you to go here to this widow. He accepted the role. Doing his isolation. Just imagine if he would have said no. If he would have said no, he probably would have died out there, because look, when the water had dried up and the birds wasn't going to bring him no flesh no more. He could have died out there, but he accepted the mission. Come on.
And she said unto Elijah, what have I to do with thee, O thou man of God? Art thou come unto me to call my sin to remembrance, and to slay my son? And he said unto her, give me thy son. And he took him out of her bosom, and carried him up into a loft, where he abode, and laid him upon his own bed. And he cried unto the Most High, and said, O Master, my Elohim, hast thou also brought evil upon the widow with whom I sojourn, by slaying her son? And he stretched himself upon the child 3 times, and cried unto the Most High, and said, O Master, my Elohim, I pray thee, let this child's soul come into him again. And the Most High heard the voice of Elijah, and the soul of the child came into him again, and revived. And Elijah took the child, and brought him down out of the chamber into the house, and delivered him unto his mother. And Elijah said, see, thy son liveth. And the woman said to Elijah, now by this I know that thou art a man of Yahweh, and that the word of the Most High in thy mouth is true.
So then, you know, like, look, when the Most High isolated this man, he rose. Remember, he left. He had no power, right? He ain't had no power with him. He left. And then when the Most High sent him to the widow's house, it's like, okay, look, now when you go to the widow's house, I'm going to show you power.
And look.
And he rose her son.
And look. Before that, right, she only had a little bit of, remember she was running out of food. She only had like the little bit of meal and stuff, and she was going to make the last meal so her and her son can die. Right? But all that time that Elijah was there, that food didn't go nowhere, right? It was still the same amount, but they was eating every day. But look, she done witnessed all that, right?
Right.
And then now right here she says this right here. And the woman said to Elijah, verse 24, now by this I know that thou art a man of Yahweh, and that the word of the Most High in thy mouth is true. So it took for her son to die, and for Elijah to bring him back to life through the power of the Most High, that she believed in the Most High.
Right.
And that was probably for the reason why he was there.
And shows you how when the Most High, it's like a cause and effect.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so now Elijah, since you showing me obedience, you went and did this. I'm gonna show you why I needed you to do that.
Right.
Now, since you did that, I'm gonna show you something. It's like, okay, now you separated yourself. All right, boom, that's test 1. You passed it. You separated yourself. You passed it. All right, now test 2. Now go to the widow house. Like, all right, you went to the widow's house. It's like, okay, he's passing these tests and whatnot. It's like, okay, now I'm gonna show you something.
Right.
Now, Elijah crying to the Most High, like, look, you didn't remember this woman's sins, this and the third. Now you didn't kill the son. He laid over the baby 3 times, and the baby rolled. It's like, whoa. Okay, now I see why you been separated. Now I see the power. Now I see what you're talking about. That's why I was separated. That's why you separated me.
Exactly.
Now you think about we were talking about earlier with David. No, not David, with Jonah. Yeah. He told him to go do a mission. He didn't go do it. He's like, nah. So the Most High like, all right, look, since you don't want to do the mission that I told you to do, you're coming with this well. Whoop. Now he's in the belly of the beast for how long? For 3 days, right? Just like he was laying over this baby, 3 times. And the baby was considered dead. Jonah is basically considered dead, right? Because he's in the belly of the fish. Now, as soon as he come up out the belly of the fish, now he go back to do the mission that he was supposed to do in the beginning.
He beat feet to do it too. He beat feet.
All right, he was ready. He's like, all right, look, I see why you took me away from everybody. I was tripping. Let me get to doing what you told me to do.
And the cool thing about it is, brothers and sisters, is that, you know, when we go put our separation from our own thoughts or whatever or not, it's not to say that we gonna make it out of that isolation.
Right.
You're not guaranteed to make it out of that isolation, you know. And you don't want to, you know, to go into judgment, you know, with nothing, you know, open, you know what I'm saying, on your rap sheet, so to speak.
Right.
You know, you want to have everything, you know,
in order.
In order and clear.
And clear, yeah, clear conscience. You know? That's why think about what Paul said. He said, look, my conscience is clear with God and man. That's the best conscience, bro, to be clear with God and man. Mm-hmm. You sleep better at night.
That's right. That's right.
It's knowing you haven't wronged nobody.
Yeah, and a lot of times the reason why people isolate themselves, or like I said from earlier, is because we done did something and we don't want our brothers to see it, or we've been talking about, you know, certain people for so long that, you know, now you gotta see it in their face, and then what you gonna do? You're gonna smile, but that smile, you try to hold that smile, whatever. Now your face is shaking. You know what I'm saying? Because you really don't want to smile because you've been talking about the brother or whatever night, and then now you sweating. You know, and it's, you know, it's a nice day, but what you sweating for? You know what I'm saying? You know, your back is wet. You know what I'm saying? Sweating all down your legs and whatnot, and then your stomach starts bubbling. I act like I've been through this or something like that.
Well, you speaking like you've been like yesterday or something. Yesterday, yeah.
You know how it goes, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all brothers know what I'm talking about. You know, we're gonna keep it like how everybody say nowadays, 100.
Keep it 100.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it 100.
Yeah, man. Just like look, just keep 100 with each other, man. Just, I mean, it's time to let it go. You know, just like let it go. All right, look, we're gonna go to Jude chapter. There's only one chapter. We're going 13 through 19. Then we're gonna hit Hebrews chapter 10, and then we're gonna close out.
All right. Jude.
Yeah.
Verse 13.
Yeah. We're gonna start in verse 15.
I'm starting 14.
Okay.
And Enoch also, the seventh from Adam, prophesied of these, saying, Behold,
right,
the Master cometh with 10,000s of his saints.
Come on.
To execute judgment upon all, and to convince all that are ungodly among them of all their ungodly deeds, which they have ungodly committed.
Come on.
And of all their hard speeches, which ungodly sinners have spoken against him.
So look, he's talking about war is coming, right? Destruction is coming. And it's talking about ungodly men, right? They said Enoch prophesied about this. Right. Come on.
These are murmurers.
They are what?
Murmurers.
Right? Come on.
Complainers.
Always complaining. I don't like being around somebody who like to complain a lot. Nobody do.
No.
Let me take myself out the equation. It's like nobody likes to be around nobody who likes to complain a lot. It's annoying. It's a draining of the spirit. It's so draining. It's like all you do is complain.
Yeah.
Come on.
Walking after their own lust.
After what?
After their own lust.
And remember, we read in Proverbs chapter 18, verse 1, it says, from desire, men separate themselves to go seek what? Different wisdom. That's their own lust. They lust after wisdom. They want to buy every book in the world. So I look, stick to the script first. Stick to this. All the other books and all the other that can wait. It don't have nothing to do with salvation at all. And I ain't talking about books that help us, you know what I'm saying, see what's going on in the world. I ain't talking about those kind of books. I'm talking about the books where people looking for different knowledge. Like, okay, well, now, you know, my auras is this and all this Houdini and all this other stuff. Come on.
And their mouths speaketh great swelling words.
Right.
Having men's persons in admiration because of advantage.
Come on.
But beloved,
come on.
Remember ye the words which were spoken before the apostles of our master, Yahushua HaMashiach.
Come on.
How that they told you there should be mockers in the last.
What?
Mockers in the last
Come
time.
on.
Who should walk after their own ungodly lusts.
And we see we in that hour right now. We are in that hour right now as we speak. Come on.
These be they.
That be who?
These be they.
Right.
Who separate themselves.
No, stay together.
Who separate themselves.
Come on.
Sensually. Having not the spirit.
So look, these are the people who separate themselves because they don't have the spirit of God. And this is why they separate themselves. The reason they don't separate themselves because of they feel like something is going on. They separate themselves because they actually understand their ungodly ways and they don't want that somebody else's light to shine on their darkness. They don't want it. They can't stand being around light because they love the darkness. Christ said it. He said, look, these are those who love what? Darkness, because their deeds are in darkness. He said, look, this is why they separate themselves. You know, it's like the truth comes out. Look, this is the reason why they separate themselves, because of everything you read a couple verses back, and they don't have the spirit. Come on. Verse 20.
But ye.
But you.
But ye.
Come on.
Beloved.
Come on.
Building up yourselves on your most holy faith.
Come on.
Praying in the holy Ruach.
Come on.
Keep yourselves in the love of Yahweh.
Come on.
Looking for the mercy of our master, Yahushua HaMashiach, unto eternal life.
Come on.
And of some having compassion.
Right.
Making a difference.
Right. Our whole thing is to make a difference. Make a difference.
That's right.
Be the light that you want to see. And don't separate yourselves. Because at the end of the day, it's like a lot of people separate themselves because of their ungodly deeds, to be honest. We can come up with all the excuses we want, but at the end of the day, it's like, this is the truth.
That's right.
This is the truth. Like, let the word of God be true and every man aware. Like,
and it's so heartbreaking and sad, man, to be honest with you, when we have like brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying, that don't have like another Israelite like-minded person that they know or that they even know about within 20 miles from them. You know what I'm saying? But we over here, you know what I'm saying, we have I can't even count how many Israelites from a 5-mile radius around me, how many of my brothers are around. You know what I'm saying? But then some of us choose not to come around, you know what I mean? But there's brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying, that are listening to this lesson right now that they don't even have a brother or sister that's within.
Yeah, within the
you know what I'm saying? An hour away.
Exactly, bro. It's like, look, we got each other every single day. It's like, look, seriously though, it's just like, hey, look, we look at each other every single day, every day. I can't say I don't want to be around you. You know, it's just I'm gonna say I don't want to be around you, and it doesn't make sense. Like, you can't even make that fit. It doesn't make sense. Like, look, okay, well, in that case, everybody come off their high horses. Everybody come off their high horses. Everybody repent. Look, come holler at me. Tell me the truth. Like, hey, what's going on with you?
Right.
It's like, look, when the Messiah, look at it like this. Like, okay, look. The Messiah told his right-hand man, you gonna deny me. He didn't tell him, he didn't pull him to the side. He told him, like, look, you gonna deny me. Like, yeah, you saying all that, I heard that. But he told him in his face,
yeah,
you gonna deny me. Then told, when it with Judas, them and all that, he told Judas, you the traitor.
Yeah.
You the traitor. So look, just keep it a buck. Just tell people right in their face. You would have more respect if you told somebody how you really feel. Face to face. Flat out. That's just what it is. We don't have to sugarcoat nothing. Just keep on. Hey, look, if you don't feel a certain kind of way, look, come holler at your sister, holler at your brother. It will make everything better.
Exactly.
It said confess your flaws. It's like that script, we look past that. Yeah. But verse 5, it'll say, love your neighbor yourself. Like, yeah, I like that verse. Then verse 6 it say, confess your faults. Yeah. It's like, yeah, that verse ain't talking about me. Verse 7, it's like, okay, yeah, I can keep verse 7. So we cherry pick. It's like, no, look, when are we gonna believe the word of God for what it is in its entirety?
Exactly. We still coming in with them with that Christianity mentality, you know what I'm saying?
Straight up.
Ooh, and then we have the nerves, you know what I'm saying, to be boasting and bragging that we Israelites, but we coming in with that same Christian sanity and mentality. Yep. You know what I'm saying, in that same spirit. Yep. We know this, we know that, we know this precept, that precept, we reading the lost books, we doing all this or whatever, whatnot. But when it comes to certain we veer away from it. Yep. And then we have the nerve, you know what I'm saying, and then I'm talking about us men. Then we have the nerve, you know what I'm saying, to complain or get mad, you know what I'm saying, at our woman, you know what I'm saying, for not listening to every word that came up out of my mouth. We got a nerve, we got for real.
Oh,
yeah. You know what I'm saying? We have the nerves to get mad at the woman, you know what I mean? Because look, and we cherry picking these scriptures or whatever. Now, well, then of course the woman go cherry pick, you know what I'm saying, your words. You know what I'm saying?
I yeah, most definitely. It's like, look, like script says, you know, like, be not mocked. Every man will reap what he sowed.
Man, look, you know what I'm saying? Look.
Now the Lord is not mocked. Every man will reap what they sow.
You know, so yeah, no doubt.
You know, it's just like, look, we just have to really apply and actually be the word. Mm-hmm. Like the Messiah is the word. The Messiah is the word, but you can actually be the living word.
Right.
He said put on Christ.
That's right.
So in order, hey, look, you put Christ on, that means you're the word. You know what I'm saying? You walk, you are the word. And like bro, I always say to the simple ones, I'm not saying that we are the Messiah. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, when you put on the Messiah, you can actually be the word. Like, keep it 100 with each other. Tell each other the truth. Like, hey, look, yeah, I was tripping. Yeah, bro, you right. I was tripping, this and third. Yes, sis, you right. I shouldn't have said that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I should listen to my king more. You know, just like your sisters, they talk to each other. You know what I'm saying? Bros, we can talk to each other. Mm-hmm. I don't have to come sound with the loudest voice and I don't have to do that. Just like, hey, bro, hey, look, you've been tripping lately. Exactly. You know, what's stuck in, if you look at the word pride, what's stuck in the middle of the word pride is I.
Wait. Yeah. Make it make sense Mondays, man.
Yeah, make it make sense Monday.
Make it make sense, man.
I hit a couple more scripts. We're gonna go to first. We're gonna go to 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8.
Just verse 8.
8 through 9.
I'm gonna start 6.
Yeah, start at 6. You start at 6.
1 Peter chapter 5, verse 6. Humble yourselves, therefore.
Do what?
Humble yourselves.
Come on.
Therefore, under the mighty hand of Yahweh.
So look, that it's all about being humble. It's all about being humble, man. It's like, look, I ain't better than you. You ain't better than me.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, it's like, shoot, bro, I gotta stand in the day of judgment just like you. That look, we gonna lift each other up. We're gonna just stay humble. Just stay humble. Stay humble. Keep your head low to the ground. When the Most High tell you to move, then you move. Most High tell you, holler at your brother, holler at your sister. If that spirit goes out and tells you to do something, you do it.
Right.
You do it. Come on.
That he may exalt you in due time.
So that he will lift you up. Think about Joseph, right? I was gonna go to it, but the testament of Joseph. Long story short, Joseph was giving his testimony, and he was saying how his brother sold him into Egypt, how this and that happened to him, this and the third. But the whole time he was isolated from his whole family. He said God was with me, and the Most High exalted me, so I can help my family when I was down in Egypt.
That's right.
He was humble. He was a humble man, just like the Messiah, just like Moses. These were humble men, and the Most High exalted these men. That's you too. Like, look, humble yourself, and the Most High will exalt you. You don't exalt yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Because the truth be told, don't nobody care about that. I know I don't.
No, me either.
You know what I'm saying? You can come with the flyers, whatever you got, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. I really don't care. You know what I'm saying? It ain't me. So I'm not jealous of you. Hey, have at it.
Right. Hallelujah. Hey,
you know,
look,
hallelujah. God bless you with it or whatever. Not okay, cool. He bless you.
Right.
You know, and then too, also when we put on Christ, speak about when you put on Christ, y'all buy some new shoes and stuff like that, and you walk differently.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Whole walk is different.
I'm telling, bro.
Hey, but look,
bro.
But look, if you trip off what bruh's saying, say, look, when you buy shoes, you put on these new clothes, you put on new shoes, you walk different.
Well, you got different like a mother.
Right. So it's like, look, when you put on the Messiah, when you put him on, you're supposed to what? Walk different.
Walk different, act different, man. You know what I'm saying?
Straight up. Hallelujah.
1 Peter 5, verse 7.
Come on.
Casting all your cares upon him.
Some of them.
Casting all your care upon him.
Come on.
For he cares for you.
Come on.
Be sober.
Be what?
Be sober.
Come on.
Be vigilant. Because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour.
So look, you gotta always be mindful and watch everything that you do and everything that you say. Right, because Satan, he's looking to catch you up in words. He's looking to destroy you. Destroy what? Your soul. It ain't just you. He's trying to destroy your soul. So when you get into your isolation modes or whatnot, when you've been tempted by Satan, this is something that a script that you can recall back, because this is what he's trying to do. He's trying to get you to go against your brothers and sisters, go against God. He's trying to get you to go against God. And verse 9 tell you what?
Whom resisteth steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world.
So look, your brothers and sisters going through it too. So what's the point of separating yourself?
Right.
If everybody going through it, the Lord went through it. Christ went through it. The disciples went through it. We got to start coming up with excuses. It's like excuses is running out.
Right.
Time running out. Excuses running out. It's like, look, when are we going to hold on to faith, hold on to each other?
Right.
Unify. True unity, not fake unity. I'm talking true unity. That pure love. Like, it's time for that. Like, look, only time we need to separate when we coming out from among evil men or coming out from among the world. That's your separation. When he tell you to separate yourself, that's what he's talking about. When he separate the wheat and tares, he didn't say you was gonna separate the wheat and tares. He said that he was gonna separate the wheat and tares. He's gonna isolate us from tares. Look, I got some poison ivy in my yard, right?
Right.
Just watching this poison ivy in my yard. My neighbor, she actually came from her yard and to kill the poison ivy plants that was in my yard. You know what I'm saying? And it's like just watching how the Most High straight take care of us through other people. You know what I'm saying? Right. But just watching this woman come kill the plants or whatnot, you know, the poison ivy, she's killing them from choking the life out of the other plants that's supposed to grow in our backyard. Because my wife, she said, babe, I haven't seen a plant grow in the backyard this year. Like the flowers didn't grow in the backyard this year. And I'm looking, I'm like, right, but we got some new flowers up against the fence. But the ones that's in the backyard, we wondering why they ain't growing because the poison ivy plant then back there then choked the life out of them. It's like, dang, I ain't even trip off of it because I ain't know. I'm gonna keep 100. I'm not a gardener. I don't garden. So it's like I cut the grass. You know, I mow the lawn, this and I get the little brown things about the grass, but it's like I straight don't know how to straight take care of like plants, this and the third. I couldn't tell you what that plant was and what that. I know that's a poison ivy plant because when I was younger, they always told me what it looked like. Right. But we wonder why the flowers in the backyard ain't growing because the poison ivy plant then choked the life out of them. Mm-hmm. So now you see why the Most High said He separate the wheat and tares because the tares will choke the life out of the wheat. And it will not grow.
And remember, again, this ain't a solo mission, y'all. You know what I'm saying? That's why He called it brotherhood. You know, that's why it's called the brotherhood. And we talk about sisters, you know, as well.
Oh yeah, most definitely. It's like that's why I always throw the sisters in there too. It's like I'm talking about everybody. Okay. I ain't just talking about the men. I'm talking about us as a whole, men and women, you know, and children. All right, so we're gonna go to Hebrews chapter 10, and then we're gonna close out. We're gonna start in verse 24 through 25.
Verse 24.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna start at 23.
All right, you're gonna start at 23. Yeah. You're gonna start at 21.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. You're supposed to start at 21.
On a good day, well, I'll read the whole chapter.
Hebrews chapter 10, verse 21. And having an high priest over the house of YAH.
Come on.
Let us draw near with a true heart.
With a what?
With a true heart.
And He didn't say let me draw near. He said let what? Us draw near. Let us draw near. That means we together. We do this together. I don't do this by myself. Yeah, my walk is different. My walk may be different. You probably don't battle with the same kind of things that I battle with. But at the same time, it's like, look, our whole mission is to fear God, keep His commandments, and love one another in the faith of Christ.
That's right.
That's the whole mission. That's why I said, let us draw near with a true heart. Come on.
In full assurance of faith.
Come on.
Having our hearts sprinkled from an evil conscience.
Come on.
And our bodies washed with pure water.
Come on.
Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering.
Without what?
Without wavering.
Come on.
For He is faithful that promised.
Come on.
And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works.
So look, notice 24, it says, let us consider one another. It's like, look, be there for one another.
Right.
How can you be there for somebody or consider showing love to somebody with good works if you by yourself?
That's right.
How can you? It's like at the end of the day, it's like you love taking care of just yourself. Selfish. It said, let us consider one another to provoke into love and to good works. Come on, verse 25.
I get this. Consider. Okay. To perceive, remark, observe, understand. To consider attentively. Fix one's eyes or mind upon.
Right.
Yeah, okay. I got it now. Because I was thinking that, right? And it says, and let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works. And I thought about it like me. I remember me going to jail. I used to always wonder, like, damn, man, why a girl couldn't be this faithful to me? You know what I'm saying? While I was in winter, you know, but it's like, you know what I'm saying, out of sight. I remember my mom told me this, out of sight, out of mind, Juanito. You know, she would say that, you know, and it's true. Because sometimes you forget, you know what I'm saying, if the brothers ain't come around for so long, you forget that, you know what I'm saying, that dang, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying, you are a part of this, you know what I mean, or whatever. I haven't seen you in a long time, but if I don't see a brother in a long time, like if I have seen you in like in a week or two, it's still like I just seen you yesterday. You know what I mean? But other brothers, you know what I'm saying, they might not come up, you know what I'm saying, until the feast days.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I remember you.
It's like, yeah, at the end, it's like we shouldn't only have to see each other as a whole on feast day.
Yeah, man.
It's like, I should, like, I'm not saying I need to see you every single day. Like, it's like, look, I love seeing my brothers and sisters. Verse 25.
I'm going to read 24 again.
24 again. Go ahead, bro.
And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together.
You said not what?
Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together.
That's the body.
Right.
In order to assemble, it's a symbol of ourselves. That's plural.
Okay.
It said together.
Okay.
That means everybody is one. That's a body.
That's right.
It said, look, don't forsake the what? Assembly. Come on.
As the manner of some is.
Because some people do, right? And then we read in Jude what kind of people separated themselves. They separated themselves because of the things that they was battling with. Come on.
But exhorting one another.
Right.
And so much the more.
Come on.
As ye see. As ye see.
Come on, read it slow. Say that again.
And so much the more. As ye see.
Right.
The day.
The what?
The day.
The what?
The day.
The what?
The day.
Come on.
Approaching.
Look, the Messiah is on his way here.
Right.
He's on his way back. And we still want to separate, isolate ourselves from one another. It said, exalting one another so much more. It ain't say so much less. It say, look, you exalt each other more than what y'all was doing before. It says, and so much more. As ye see the day is approaching. Yeah, let that be in all our minds and in our souls, man, to come together and stop isolating from one another. With that being said, hey, look, all praises to the Most High and His only begotten beloved Son.
All praises, my brother. All praises.
Put some sevens in the room if everybody got some understanding.
That was him right there, Most High. All praises. I like that one. That was something that needed to be touched on.
We have to get some sevens to close out. But yeah, man, it was well needed, bro. So I shoot the Most High. When you say move, you move.
So I want Marcus Israel. How you doing, brother? I know you waiting on us, man. You know, we don't like to leave 30 minutes outside of St. Louis. We'll be all right, though. Nice. Hallelujah. EP. What is that?
Yeah, definitely. One family. Yeah, it's like I'm trying to. Okay, I see we all different time. What word I'm looking for? My time on her is different from the time right here, so I might not see y'all sevens, but bro can see them. So, with that being said, man, look, I love y'all indeed in truth, man. I pray that this lesson is actually helps a lot of people out in this walk. You know, just increase people's faith, man, and just stay focused. Love y'all indeed in truth, and in due time we'll be at y'all tomorrow with another lesson. Most High willing.
I got a song.
And bro, for the close out with Psalms.
Psalms chapter 1.
Psalms chapter 1.
Yes, sir.
I would sing, but I'm gonna stay in my lane. I'm gonna write poems.
I can't do nothing.
Let y'all keep do the singing.
Psalms chapter 1. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Most High, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. The ungodly are not so, but are like the shaft which the wind driveth away. Therefore, the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. Verse 6. For the Most High knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly, shall perish. Hallelujah. Selah. Yahoo.
Good.
All praise. All praise.
All praise. Beautiful Psalms to end with. Your ways versus Yahweh. Shalom, family, and we be at y'all tomorrow, most high willing. Shalom.